The movie begins in the year 2092, where Earth's condition has drastically worsened. Humanity is on the brink of extinction as the planet becomes increasingly uninhabitable. Breathing has become difficult and survival seems uncertain. Amidst this crisis, a powerful corporation has built an advanced space station, a luxurious habitat where only the wealthy and employees of the company can live. Meanwhile, the poor and less fortunate are left struggling on Earth, unaware that their days may be numbered. We are introduced to a young man named Kim, who is desperate for money. The reason behind his urgency remains unknown at first. In space, scientists have constructed a massive city powered by numerous satellites and machines. However, these structures pose a grave risk, as they could collapse onto any planet at any time. Kim works in a dangerous yet essential job, scavenging and selling space debris. He is part of a team consisting of a robot, a man, and their skilled captain. While many other groups compete in this business, they lack the technology and expertise that Kim's team possesses. Their captain is an expert in navigating space and collecting valuable metal. One day, while gathering debris, the captain spots a small girl floating in space. Without hesitation, she brings the child aboard. At the same time, a news broadcast plays on a nearby screen, hinting that something extraordinary is about to unfold. A shocking news report reveals the existence of a strange new weapon, one that looks like an innocent child but has the potential to explode. Hearing this, the group is immediately alarmed. They cautiously step back, eyes fixed on the little girl they had just rescued. Could she be the bomb? Had someone deliberately sent her to them as part of a dangerous scheme? Uncertain and on edge, they decide to keep a close watch on her. However, as time passes, they begin to realize that she isn't a bomb at all. She's just a normal, helpless child. This discovery raises even more questions. How did she end up in space? Who are her parents? And most importantly, how can they return her safely? Soon they learn from the news that the girl's father is desperately searching for her. Initially, they consider returning her immediately, but then a greedy idea crosses their minds. Why not use this opportunity to make money? Unlike professional kidnappers who go through all the trouble of abducting someone, this girl had landed in their hands effortlessly. They decide to demand a hefty ransom from her father in exchange for her safe return. As they dig deeper, they discover that her father is not just any man. He is a scientist working at the very space city created by the powerful corporation. While they wait for their plan to unfold, something unexpected happens. The rest of the crew, except for Kim, start forming a bond with the girl. One of them, in particular, becomes especially fond of her, playing games and having heartfelt conversations. Eventually, they make the call. Reaching out to the girl's father, they declare, "We have your daughter. If you want her back, we need $4 million. They set the meeting location, a disco club, where the exchange will take place. As the plan moves forward, they carefully hide the girl inside a box and head toward the meeting point, unaware of the dangerous turn their scheme is about to take. As soon as the girl steps out of the box, chaos erupts. The people inside the disco freeze in shock, their eyes widening with fear. They had seen the news. To them, this girl wasn't just a child, she was a walking bomb. Murmurs of panic turn into screams, and within moments, the entire club descends into mayhem. Meanwhile, the girl's father pushes through the frantic crowd, desperately trying to reach her. But before he can, the commotion separates them. The situation spirals out of control, and just as things couldn't get any worse, the police storm in. The authorities begin searching for the girl, scanning every face in the club. The group knows they're in serious trouble. If they get caught now, it's over. Without wasting a second, they make a run for it, slipping out before the police can track them down. Back on their spaceship, they catch their breath and try to make sense of what just happened. But then an unexpected revelation stuns them. One of their own has brought the girl back. He couldn't leave her behind. He had grown attached to her and couldn't bear to let her go. The captain, furious, snaps at him. "Are you out of your mind? Everything was going perfectly, and you just threw it all away." Kim, however, sees a different opportunity. "Think about it," he says. We can still make a fortune if we return her. This isn't over yet." Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the mastermind behind the space city, the powerful owner of the corporation. He stands before an awestruck audience, unveiling his latest breakthrough, a technology capable of breathing life into barren land. With it, he can grow forests even in space. The crowd erupts in applause, hailing him as a savior. But behind this grand spectacle, a darker truth lurks. Back on the spaceship, the group faces another crisis. Their ship, damaged during their escape, is in dire need of repairs. They don't just need money, They need weapons, resources, and a way to survive. But right now, they have none of it. Frustration grows as they struggle to come up with a plan. Just then, the little girl walks up to Kim, her voice soft yet confident. "Can you give me some scissors?" she asks. Kim looks at the little girl, puzzled. "Why do you need scissors?" he asks. She smiles and replies innocently, "I had a tomato plant, but it never grew any tomatoes before. Now suddenly it's full of them. I don't know why, but you can cut them and sell them. Since there's no greenery left on Earth, these tomatoes must be valuable." Intrigued, the group follows her suggestion. They take the fresh, ripe tomatoes to sell, and to their surprise, they make a huge profit. With this unexpected income, they finally repair their damaged spaceship and set off once again. As they continue their journey, the team's robot sits beside the little girl, carefully giving her a makeover. Unlike the others, it talks to her kindly, treating her like family. Curious, the girl looks up at the robot. "Robot uncle, why is Kim uncle always so angry?" she asks. The robot pauses before answering. "He's not really angry," it explains. "He's just worried. He needs a lot of money, and that's why he's always chasing after it." The girl tilts her head. "But why is money so important? Why does Kim uncle need it so badly?" The robot hesitates for a moment, then finally says, "Something happened to him. Do you want to hear his real story?" The little girl nods eagerly. "Yes, robot uncle, tell me." The robot begins to narrate Kim's past. "A few months ago, things were different. Back when life was still somewhat stable, Kim wasn't just anyone. He was the leader of the police force in the space city." The girl's eyes widen in surprise. "Kim uncle was a policeman?" "Yes," the robot continues. "Kim had always been a tough and fearless officer, but one fateful day, everything changed. During a mission, he was forced to eliminate a group of criminals. In the aftermath, he discovered a baby girl, innocent and alone. Guilt washed over him. He realized that by taking down those criminals, he had also taken away this child's parents. Unable to abandon her, Kim made a life-changing decision. He adopted her. Over time, the little girl became his whole world. She called him her father, and he truly loved her like his own daughter. But deep inside, a sense of remorse never left him. He had once destroyed a family, and he swore to himself, never again. He would never take another life. However, his compassion didn't go unnoticed. When his superiors found out about the adoption, they saw it as a sign of weakness. "Your job was to arrest criminals, not to feel sorry for them, not to adopt their children," they told him coldly. His mercy cost him everything. He was suspended from the police force and stripped of his position, but the humiliation didn't stop there. "You were only allowed to live in the space city because you were in law enforcement," they reminded him. "But now, you're just another poor man with no job and no future. You can't stay here." And just like that, Kim was exiled from the space city and sent back to Earth. Life on Earth was harsh. With no money and no resources, Kim took up whatever work he could find, eventually becoming a scavenger, collecting space debris for survival. Then came the disaster. A massive piece of metal from space crashed into Earth, destroying the area where he worked. Chaos erupted as people fled toward the space city, hoping to escape the dying planet. Among those taken away was his daughter. That was the moment Kim's life shattered. Since then, he had been desperately searching for her, clinging to the hope that she was still alive. And as for the money, he owed a massive debt to the very company that had cast him aside. If he wanted even the slightest chance of reuniting with his daughter, he needed to pay it. That's why Kim was so desperate. That's why he was always chasing money. It wasn't just for survival. It was for a chance to bring back the only person who had ever truly mattered to him. Kim was not a bad man. He was desperate. His daughter was out there, and the only company that could help him find her demanded an enormous sum of money. He would do anything to get her back. Meanwhile, in the grand city on Mars, the ruthless owner of the company was making sinister plans. He had developed a radical new technology, one that could regrow life on Earth. But to activate it, he planned to detonate a massive bomb, wiping out everything before rebuilding from the ashes. The key to this technology? A powerful chemical created by none other than the father of the little girl traveling with Kim's group. But when the scientists discovered the true purpose of his creation, he made a shocking decision. He secretly injected the chemical into his own daughter's body, ensuring it wouldn't fall into the wrong hands. He knew the owner of the company would stop at nothing to get it, and with it, the power to reshape the world as he pleased. Now, the girl wasn't just a lost child. She was the one thing standing between humanity and destruction. That's why the company and the police were desperately hunting her down. On the other side, Kim was still chasing his own goal. He called the girl's father again, demanding the ransom money. But he had no idea that the authorities were listening in. "This is the last chance," Kim said. "I need the money. Meet me at the coordinates I send you." The scientist hesitated, but eventually agreed. He wanted to see his daughter safe just as much as Kim wanted to save his own. They met in a secluded location, a tension-filled silence between them. But before anything could be said, a terrifying realization dawned on them. The owner of the company had tracked them. Within moments, armed forces surrounded them. Kim and the scientist reached for their weapons, but they were outnumbered. And then, in cold blood, the company's enforcers did the unthinkable. They shot the girl's father. He collapsed to the ground, his breath shallow, his eyes filled with sorrow. The last thing he saw was his daughter, innocent, unaware of the storm raging around her. And just like that, the only man who truly understood the power within the girl was gone. The owner of the company stepped forward, a smug smile on his face. "You're a strange man, Kim," he said, tossing a bag of money at his feet. "Take it and leave. I don't need you. I only need the girl." Kim clenched his fists, but he had no choice. He watched helplessly as the ruthless man took the little girl away. She looked back at him, confusion and fear in her innocent eyes, but he couldn't stop them. Not yet. Back on their spaceship, Kim stared at the money. It was more than enough. He took what he needed and handed the rest to his crew. "Here, take your share," he said. But the captain shook his head. "We don't want the money, Kim. We're going after her," another crew member added. "She's someone's daughter, too. We left her behind once. We're not making that mistake again." Kim felt a lump in his throat. For the first time in a long time, he wasn't alone in this fight. "Wait," he said. "I'm coming with you." Before joining them, Kim made one final stop. He delivered the money to the company that had been searching for his daughter. Now, at least, there was hope that she could be found. With that done, he raced back to his team. "We do this together," he said firmly. They set off, tracking the company's spaceship to its hidden base. When they arrived, what they saw made their blood run cold. The bomb was ready. It was massive, pulsing with an eerie glow, its countdown ticking toward destruction. The company's owner had already extracted the technology from the girl's body. Now, with the bomb activated, Earth's fate was sealed. The captain sprinted to the control panel, frantically trying to disable it. "I can't stop it," she shouted. Panic set in. They were running out of time. If the bomb couldn't be deactivated, there was only one option left. "We take it as far from Earth as possible," Kim said. Everyone fell silent. They knew what that meant. If they carried the bomb into deep space, there would be no coming back. Without hesitation, Kim and his crew carried out their daring plan. The bomb was moments away from detonation, and they knew the risk. If they took it far enough from Earth, they might not make it back. But none of them hesitated. They weren't thinking about themselves. They were thinking about saving the world. As they guided the bomb deep into space, the company's ruthless owner realized what they were doing. Desperate to stop them, he followed, his ship racing behind theirs. And then it happened. The timer hit 0. A blinding explosion ripped through space, engulfing everything in its path. For a moment, it seemed like Kim, the captain, and their entire crew had been lost in the blast. But just when all hope seemed lost, tiny microbots swarmed around their bodies, forming a protective shield. The little girl had sent them. The technology still inside her body had responded to their danger, saving them just in time. But the company's owner wasn't so lucky. No microbots came for him. His greed had sealed his fate, and he perished in the explosion. When Kim and his team returned, he turned to see the little girl sitting beside his crew. One of his team members placed a hand on his shoulder. "She lost her parents too, Kim," they said gently. "Why don't we take care of her together?" Kim looked at the girl, her eyes full of innocence and hope. And in that moment, he understood. He couldn't bring his daughter back, but he could still protect and love this child. He could give her the family she had lost, just as he had once done before. With time, the world healed. The technology inside the little girl was used to restore life to the planet. Greenery returned, flowers bloomed, and trees stood tall once again. The Earth, once on the brink of destruction, was reborn. And in the end, Kim and his crew found something even greater than victory: family. And so, their journey continued, together. In the end, Space Sweepers is more than just a sci-fi spectacle. It's a story about family, sacrifice, and the fight for a better future. Despite their troubled pasts and personal struggles, Kim and his crew find a new purpose beyond money and survival. Through their journey, they not only save Earth, but also rediscover what truly matters: love, loyalty, and second chances. With breathtaking action sequences, emotional depth, and a hopeful message, Space Sweepers is an unforgettable cinematic experience that resonates long after the credits roll.